Hello everyone and welcome to the hands-on demo on AWS organizations. So in this demo, we will create AWS organization. We will create production and development OUs. We will create development service control policies. We will create production service control policy. We will set up development tags like environment and project. Then we will set up production tags like environment, cost center and business unit. We will enable tag policy reporting, and finally we will attach and test these policies related to service control policy and tag policies. So first step is to create an AWS organization. So I have logged into AWS console and I will search for organization and click on AWS organizations. So first step will be to create an organization. So immediately you will see, so you have successfully created an organization, and as soon as you create, your current account will go into a root organization. So this is the root O, which is organization, and this is your current account. Next we will create our first organizational unit. So on the AWS accounts page, click on actions and click on organizational unit. So for this you have to click actually on the root organization and actions, create new. So this will help you create an organizational unit. So I copy the name, so I'll just call it production. So I'll paste the OU name and create organizational unit. So this is the first OU, and inside that there is no AWS accounts. Next I will create the second OU, and that I will call as development. So I go here and click on root, actions, create new, and call this as development. And click on create organization unit. So now this is my organization structure. So I have development and production. Next is to create my first AWS account. So I copy the AWS account name. For this you just have to click direct add an AWS account, paste the name, and provide there should be a separate email address which is different from your regular account, which is the parent account. So I'll give us different email address. So I'm using the same email address, but I'm adding this plus prod, so it will go to the same learnpde@gmail.com, and you click on create AWS account. So this is the first. So it will say you have submitted a request, and it will take some time. And I can just click here, and I got an email. So now if I just refresh it, so your new account should be created within next few minutes. So let me just refresh, and I can see my prod account. So you will see this prod account is given a separate AWS account ID. So same way I can create the second account. I got the email also. So for that, copy the dev account and add an AWS account, paste the name and the email address. And click on create AWS account. So now this also the request is submitted, and if I just refresh, I can see my dev and prod account. So what we need to do now is to move this to this particular OU. So you can have any kind of nested structure like OU containing other OUs as well as other AWS accounts. So first I select this dev account, actions, and move, and select the development OU. So this is that account has been moved into development OU. Same I have to do for prod account, and click on that, actions, move, and select the production OU. Move AWS account. Now my whole organizational structure has been set up, and now I will be setting up service control policies as well as tag policies. So we have seen all these steps. Okay, now if we go to the policies page, so here you'll see policies, and as you can see, these are all the policies you can set at the whole organizational structure level. So you have AI service opt-out policies, backup policies, chatbot policies, resource control policies, service control policies, and tag policies. So this is the most used for managing all the organization. And then this one is tag policies. So this will be like helping in prevention of like which services you use, and tag policies will help you in compliance in terms of all resources being correctly marked with your tag keys and the values. So first step is to enable the service control policy. So I will come here and click here, click enable service control policy. So let it get enabled, and I will be creating my development service control policy. Click on create policy and paste the name. And this policy is basically saying that whichever the development OU and all the accounts like development AWS account can only run T2 and T3 instances. Other than that, others are not allowed. So you can see this is string not like, and action is run instances, and effect is deny. So deny anything other than these two. And second condition is saying deny other than anything. So only US East 1 and US West 2 are allowed. So basically I am limiting these instances and these two regions for my usage. And so this is for all services, and this is for EC2. So resource is EC2 instance creation, and this is for all services. So I copy the whole policy and I come down and paste. Click on create policy. So this has created a development service control policy. Next is to attach the policy to development OU. So once we attach to a OU, it will be applicable to all the AWS accounts or the OU which are underneath that particular OU. So I select the development OU and attach the policy. So this is successfully attached, and next step is to create a service control policy for the production account. So I take the whole name, production service control policy, and come here and go to the service control policies, create policy, paste the name, and then I will provide the whole JSON object. So what this is saying is, first US East 1 and US West 2 are allowed, and for deny run instances and create volume in these two if the volume or the instances are not encrypted. So I take the first step and paste it, and I have some more content to be added, and then it is saying deny deleting any production related tags on. So these actions are denied, like delete tags, delete object tagging, and remove tags from resources. And this is the must tag production and require resource tags. So deny run instances, create DB instances, and create bucket. So these resource tags are required for these instances, DB instance and create bucket. And the key value must be environment, cost center, and project. So this is the whole policy. So I copy the whole policy. And paste it underneath that. So this is the whole policy, and there are no errors. Now I can create this policy. So this is the production service control policy. Now I will attach this policy to the production OU. So click the policy, actions, attach policy, and click on production OU. So now it is attached to the production OU. So now we will create some tag policies. So if I go here and policies, and first we have to enable it. So click on tag policies, enable tag policies. Then we'll create our first tag policy. and this is the dev tag policy. Paste it, and so this is the JSON, and it's saying these are the tags which are which must be there. So environment, and that can have value of dev, and this is will be enforced for EC2 instance and S3 bucket. So we are limiting for 2 resources, and the second tag key that they should have is project, and the values can be alpha, beta, and demo. And again, this is valid for, this should be applicable on these 2 EC2 instances and S3 bucket. So I copy the dev tag policy, and so here you can provide visually like this or directly paste the JSON. And when I paste the JSON, if I go to the visual editor, you can see it has the same effect. It's tag key and compliance option, and what are the resources and what value that must be provided, dev. And for the second tag key, project and alpha, beta, and demo, and applicable on these 2 resources. So click on create policy. So this is the dev tag policy, and now I will create another one which will be prod tag policy. So copy the value, paste the policy, and copy paste the whole JSON. So this is saying environment, the tag key must be environment, and the value must be prod, and same there should be a tag key called cost center, and value should be one of it, and again valid, applicable on these 2 resources. So I copy the whole thing and come to JSON, paste it, and if I go to visual editor, I can see the same effect. So environment, and second tag key should be cost center, and allowed values should be this. So click on create policy. So now 2 tag policies are ready, and finally I have to attach one by one. So dev tag policy, actions, attach policy, and attach to development. So if you don't if you forget to attach, it will have absolutely no effect. So it's like basically being there without any kind of enforcement. So take the prod and attach to prod OU and attach policy. So we have attached all our policies. Now I will log into the dev AWS account. So to log into the dev AWS account, come to AWS accounts, and under development you will see this particular account ID, and what we have to do is copy the whole thing, and I will launch a private browser. So if I paste, and now I have to replace the account ID for the dev account. So if I come here, and as I showed, I'll copy the value and go back, paste it. So I am logging into the dev AWS account for the first time. You can have to say like a root user sign in. So sign in using root user email, the dev account, and I'll just add plus dev at the end and click on next. And then you will have to, so this captcha will come sometimes, and submit. So, and this screen, because we have never logged in using and we don't know the password, right? So for the first time you will always have to do forgot password, and it will ask for a captcha once again. And now it has sent an email for the password. So I copy the whole link, copy link, go back and paste it. And I can reset password. So this is how you will click on next and again captcha. Provide the password. So actually AWS should have shown like first time login or first time user or something. So now it will send the password once again. And paste it. So now I have logged in, and now I will go ahead and test the policies. So if I try to launch T2 large, it should allow, because the service control policy allows creation of T2 large. So if I come here, and instance state, launch instances, and click on T2 large, instance type, so I'll just select search for T2. Okay, T3 is also allowed, so I'll just say T3 micro. And okay, so this error came because of I am in the wrong region, so I have to go to US East 1, and now I can try to launch a T2 based instance. So I'll just say T2 micro and click on launch instance, proceed without key pair, and launch instance. So as you can see, there was no issue in launching an instance. Now if I try to launch, so there's no problem. And now if I try to launch anything which is M5 based, because service control policy and only allows T2 and T3 based. So I take this instance and now launch, copy paste the value, and here I have to search for M5. So I'll say M5.large, launch instance, proceed without key pair, launch instance. So as you can see clearly, you are not authorized to perform this operation because of the service control policy, and other one got successfully launched and running. So now I will show you how. So you can see this this detailed report in something called as AWS resources as well. So if I come here, there is something called as AWS resource groups. So if I search AWS resource groups, resource groups and tag editor. Let me search. So if I open this in a new tab, so if you come to tag policies, so if you see this error, you have to run this particular command. So I'll just copy the command and launch Cloud Shell. This is the command, and so after enabling it, if I come here and refresh, so you will see all your dev account and prod account, whether they are compliant or not, and it's not applicable for the your parent account. Now I will try to add some tags and show you the behavior of the tag policies. So let's say I go back to the EC2 instance and click here and go to the tags. It has one tag, and if I click on manage tags, now I will add some more tags, like let's say purpose, and some value. So it will let me add that particular tag. So the thing is, it will not look for the key. So if the key is different, then it will not enforce any value restriction. But if I take, for example, environment, which was part of the tag policy, and add the value, so it should be only dev, right? So this is not in the list of the so now the tag policy does not allow the specified value for the environment. So how can I fix it? Is by just using the dev tag. And if I save it, so that works fine. So this is the behavior of tag policy. So if the key is right, then the value will be enforced. But if the key does not belong to the tag policy, you can give any key and the value. So if the key does not match, value is anyway have no significance. And you can, so as I talked about, you can give your own key, so that will be okay. So the behavior is kind of bit weird, but this is how it is at the moment. So you can have your own key and your own value. So this will come handy because most of the organizations do not start enforcing tags from the day one. So most of the time you will join some company where they will have a lot of resources already created in multiple AWS accounts which are part of organizations, and you are supposed to find out whether the tags have those values or not. So if the key is same, you can find out, and that will show up in your this particular compliance report. Okay, and because it will take effect after you create, for example, this tag policy is there, so it has enforced and prevented the different key value, different value. But let's say there are already hundreds of resources created. You can, if you have the tag policy, it will show up in the compliance report. Okay, so next step is to now so how to enforce tag policy at the creation itself. So now I'll show you how to fix this issue. So I'm adding this to the dev service control policy, and I'm saying these are the mandatory tags. When you have EC2 run instances, you must have this particular environment and the project tag. So these are the mandatory ones, and the environment tag should have the dev value, and the project tag should have alpha, beta, and demo. So this is how I will enforce that all the EC2 instances must be enabled with these two tag and these values. So let's say I copy the snippet and add it to the service control policies. So come to the policies and service control policies. Go to the development service control policy and edit policy. If I go down and under this, paste it. So now I will enforce that these two tags must be provided. So my policy has been enforced. Now if I try to launch an instance, you will see the outcome. So let's see if I create an instance. So launch EC2 with no tags. Okay, so I'll say no tags, launch instance, proceed without key pair, and launch instance. So instance launch failed because there were two keys which needs to be provided, and those were not provided. Now let me show you how to. Now I will launch instance with those required keys. So name, you can give anything, test tags, for example. Let's say I call it test tags, and you have to click this add additional tags even during the launch, right? So I take the environment and the value. So you can see it is already started populating the so I take the last key, the project key, and paste it and provide the value alpha. and now I can launch the instance. So this also failed because I have not given the capital. So let me try to edit instance config and make it as capital P and launch instance. So it has successfully launched the instance. So this is how we will enforce the tag keys and the value at the creation itself. And that's all. Thanks for watching.